Welcome to Sense of Style. I'm Stuart, and I've been collecting since 2019. I've tried, I think, between 500 and 600 fragrances. A lot of them are good. Some of them are forgettable, but then there are a very special few that I think are elite. They're special fragrances. I have 9 of them today. I'm hoping to get you guys as intrigued about trying these 9 as I was in 2019 when they talked about green Irish tweed costing $400 a bottle. I could not believe that. That seemed insane to me, and I was super curious. I have some fragrances. I don't know if they're $400, but they're really special. I hope you enjoy. Fragrance number 1 is Givenchy Gentlemen's Society EDP Ombre. And this might seem like a strange choice for this list because I'm talking about the greatest fragrances ever. And this came out just this year. But I'm not doing a top fragrance list for 2025 like I normally do. However, I'll tell you right now, this is the best thing that I've tried this year. The only thing close is Eau d'Ombre Leather by Tom Ford, but this is better. And if you see Ash's list from JetSense, he did it best fragrance of 2025. This is number 1 as well. He fits the demographic. If you're 35 and up, late 30s and up, this is the kind of fragrance you're going to be interested in. I am surprised on the Fragrantica's year-end list for fragrances of 2025 as of filming in 10th spot, but there are a lot of sweet fragrances. There's a couple of clones on there as well, which don't usually happen. And so this, if you are 35 and up, this is, I believe, the best fragrance released in 2025. This is a sweet tobacco scent without too much sweetness. I've gotten rid of Pure Van. That is a super, super sweet tobacco. And even something like Herod, it's great, but it is very sweet. The vanilla here has been moderated by a lot of notes used in the rest of the Gentleman's Society line. Things like orris root, a high-quality orris. You've got narcissus, Peru balsam, and 2 vetiver notes. So the sweetness is here, but it's very subtle, and it's a very smooth wear. I could not believe how good this was when I got it. Fragrance number 2 is Amouage's Reflection Man, and this is a very different fragrance. It's got 4 floral notes, a lot of iris, and 3 white florals in a fragrance for men. Very different. The also weird is the fact that it comes from Oman, which is on the Saudi Peninsula in the Middle East. This was their very first attempt at making a Western-style fragrance, and so they hired a student of Jean-Claude Elena, who's famous for his minimalist, light touch fragrances, and that's exactly what you've got here. So this was a breakthrough for Amouage in the West. Previously, they'd been making local fragrances for a Middle Eastern market, things that were really powerful, a lot of incense, a lot of heavy resins. But the book on this one was refined, masculine, elegance, and that's exactly what you get. There's not just a lot of florals, there's also 4 woods. Very strange. 4 floral notes, 4 woody notes. There's also a rosemary note that plays a big role here. The rosemary note combines with a neroli that gives like this strong mentholated smell that's very difficult to replicate. One of the special things about this is this, I think, is the hardest fragrance to actually copy because it's just so high quality. I have one of the better clones of Reflection Man, and I would say it's about 85%, but it doesn't pick up that mentholated feel. Yeah, it's definitely a special fragrance, definitely one you want to try if you haven't yet. Next up, we have another Givenchy. This is Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privee, and I don't know how Givenchy does it, but they did it with Society Ombre. They had a really good line going, and then they made an evening scent, and then they killed it. They did the same thing with this a few years ago. They had a really good Givenchy Gentleman line, a lot of sales. But then when they go to make an evening fragrance, they add a little bit of sweetness and they just kill it. This was fantastic. This was the best fragrance, I believe, that's come out from Givenchy in a long time. I still remember smelling it for the first time at my local drugstore. I just couldn't believe it. I wasn't expecting it to be successful because it's got whiskey. Whenever you have a boozy note, it's always more masculine, but it usually overwhelms everything and it's not pleasant. In this case, they moderated the booze with the iris note here. It's high quality orris. You're also going to get chestnut and amber, not too sweet, a little bit of sweet. There's a creaminess. Oddly enough, I got sort of a caramel feel to it with a combination of the iris, the amber, and the chestnut. Other people pick up different things, but I think it's fantastic. Really strong performance. And yeah, when I remember where I was when I smelled the fragrance for the first time, that's special. Fragrances number 4 and 5 are from 2 different generations, so I think there's a good chance you will have tried one of them, but not the other. Fragrance number 4 is Gaultier Le Male Elixir, and fragrance number 5 is Drakkar Noir. Young guys don't want to try Drakkar Noir because they don't want to smell like grandpa, and older gentlemen like myself don't want to wear this or try it because it's seen as saccharine sweet. Like this is the fragrance of this era. However, this is a fragrance that I will wear in a party situation where it's a lot of fun. It's not something I'm going to wear on a regular basis, but I do love the sweet element. I think Quentin Bish created like the ultimate sweet scent. It just smells like something that I would really, really like. I don't know how he managed to do it, but I absolutely love it. This is a fragrance where when I first got it, I got a store assistant to spray some on my hand, and I spent 2 hours smelling it. Again, it's too strong for me, and it's too sweet to wear regularly, but in terms of having it, I'm glad I do. It's just an odd combination of honey, vanilla, tonka, and benzoin. It just works. Drakkar Noir, on the other hand, I mean, this is the #1 selling fragrance of the 1980s. I do not believe that a fragrance can be so iconic in one era and just be not worth even trying in another. This, I think, would be a good gateway drug for young guys to try older fragrances because, #1, this is a barber shop, so they'll get an idea what a barber shop is, but also, like, it was super popular. It was so popular, in fact, that, I know this is a tough name to pronounce, a perfumer named Pierre Warine, he made his career from this. He was a complete unknown. Drakkar was a really unknown brand. In fact, they still don't really have a high profile. But it made his career. He ended up working for YSL, and he worked for La Nuit de l'Homme. He worked on that as well. So, yeah, it made his career. It was that iconic. And, yeah, it really was. It sold more than any other fragrance in the 80s by far. It sold in Europe. It sold in America. This one's special, too. And both, I think, are at least worth trying. I'm not saying to go out and buy them, but give them a shot. Next up, we have Chanel number 5. I was so curious about trying this. I'd been collecting for 3 years before I tried it for the first time. What does it smell like? What is the hype all about? Marilyn Monroe was connected to this. She's got famous quotes about it, and it's been around like forever. And it has some interesting stories behind it. Coco Chanel wanted a fragrance that didn't just smell like flowers. In fact, to that point, everything was floralist for women. It would smell too pretty, she thought. Now, this does have 4 floral notes. However, the perfumer Ernest Beau added animalic notes, a civet note here to give it like an animalic feel. Humans are animals, so pump that in there. And so, yeah, it's still floral, but it's got an animalic thing. Another quirk about this was they were testing a whole bunch of different formulas. And the number 5 formula, Ernest Beau's assistant, put too many aldehydes in it. So it ended up with this fizzy, a light, almost effervescent scent that really made it successful. It was like 5 times the amount of aldehydes, but it worked. It was a complete accident. So yeah, I mean, interesting fragrance, definitely one that I always wanted to try. I'm glad I did. Now, hopefully at this stage, you guys will have tried oud. Now, I know some of you probably haven't, but if you want to, the best way to start, I think, is with Ombre Nomade by Louis Vuitton. This is the nicest oud scent I've tried. Now, it's super expensive, but you can do what I did and get a sample, and it really is spectacular. I'm so glad I got this. And it also, Chad Secrets, he's got a really big channel. This is his favorite Louis Vuitton. He's tried tons of Louis Vuitton fragrances. So yeah, it's just that good. It's super high quality. It's a well-balanced oud rose saffron, but you're also going to get a lot of incense and raspberry. It's quite a dark oud, very Middle Eastern feel. But this, as I mentioned in my last video, to me, smells like wealth. It smells like money. It's just something about it. I have no idea why. But you know how certain things you just smell and it just smells better. But this one definitely belongs on this list. It's a special scent. Frederic Malle's Musc Ravageur is another fragrance that's really worth a try. To me, this is the best vanilla scent ever made. It's also, I think, the most seductive scent ever made. Not everybody picks up the seductive element, but I certainly do. It's an interesting interplay between sweet notes, headed by vanilla, and animalic musky notes on the other end. They play off one another really well, and it creates a seductive, very seductive scent. And it helps the fact that it's at least 12 hours. Another really expensive scent, but I like this one so much I sprung for it. So finally, we have Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Male, the original, and for me, this one is more historic than anything else. I think this is the most consequential fragrance for what's going on right now with the use of heavy vanilla. There were some vanilla scents back in the day, but this one really upped the vanillic component. Now, it's kind of a vanillic barbershop because there's mint and lavender in here, but it's really the vanilla that made the breakthrough. This is also the iconic bottle that started it all. And not everybody is into fragrance history like I am, but I do think it had a huge influence. And I'm sure there's people out there that haven't tried it yet. And I've tried some of the newer bottles, and yes, it's not as strong as some of the older ones, but the scent is still there. Like for the first half an hour, you're definitely get a feel for what this really was. There is some depth even to the newer bottles. And yeah, it's super good. A little different than what you're going to get these days because it tends to be sweeter and you don't have that barbershoppy component with the newer ones that you would have needed in the mid-90s. But anyway, it's worth a try. So yeah, I just went through my collection and I thought I picked some real icons. Yeah, I didn't want to start with two Givenchys, but I don't know. I had to talk about Ombre. I mean, that's unbelievable. That bottle's going to go down quick. I love that. Anyway, thanks for watching.